What's going on? My name is FreeRunnerX10 and welcome to a brand new video. So in today's video I thought I'd check out a brand new free-to-play Battle Royale game. This is called Fortnite Battle Royale and this is 100% completely free to play. So if you would like to check out this game, it's linked in the description below. Basically the premise of any Battle Royale game is usually 100 players. You drop onto a map which is usually quite large and then you basically loot up, get gear, meds and other things that you need to survive, and then you make your way into an ever so shrinking circle. The circle is getting smaller and smaller, and there's a blue zone which comes in, and if you're in that blue zone you're going to sustain damage over time, and as the circles get smaller and smaller the more damage you actually take over time, and basically as the circles shrink players will die off, and it's the last player alive or the last team alive that wins the game and is crowned the king of the Battle Royale. Now as it stands right now, the most popular genre of game that is quite popular right now is Battle Royale games, with PUBG being the most played game on Steam right now. It has surpassed some of Valve's games on their own platform. It's had like 1.5 million concurrent players. That's players on at the same time, which is absolutely fantastic, and it is a really simplistic idea that a lot of people really love and enjoy to play, and me especially. I really love Battle Royale games. Now as it stands for free-to-play Battle Royale games, off the top of my head I can only think of two. One is this game, Fortnite Battle Royale, and the second one is Last Man Standing, which is quite frankly awful. So if you want to play the better game, have a lot of fun and enjoy yourself, then Fortnite is definitely for you. In this video I'm just going to be covering some of the updates that were added in this sort of free-to-play patch, as well as just talk about the game in general, some improvements that I sort of think the game needs, and yeah, that will be it for the video, so let's get right into it. So first things first, I'm going to take a look at the patch notes for the new version, which is early access version 1.63. If you'd like to read the patch notes in their entirety, they're linked in the description below. I'm just going to go over the best bits in the patch notes and just let you know about things that you need to know, which are very important, that are sort of key features. There are some extra bits of information, so if you do want to read the patch notes in their entirety, it's linked in the description below. So basically what they've done now is they've allowed you to actually play in a squad mode or duo mode, so that means you no longer have to queue in solo and partner up with your friend in a solo match where you're basically unable to win as a squad or a duo. That was something that was a problem. There were people who were basically in solo queue matches because that's all you could do, and then they were teaming up, which basically is an unfair advantage against the other people who are just playing solo and minding their own business. So it's nice that they've added in a duo mode and a squad mode, so that means you can actually play with friends or random people on the internet, because if you want to, you can actually play with randoms in your squad. So if you're on your own but you want to play squad, you can actually queue with 3 random players. You'll get put in a squad with 3 random players and you can go ahead and play with them, or if you're in a squad of 3 you will then queue and it will find you a 4th player that will fill that slot for you. So it'll be your 3 friends and then 1 random. So it's a pretty cool feature that they've now added, so you can actually play with your friends. They've also added supply drops. Supply drops are very key to the sort of Battle Royale genre or game mode. You basically get good loot from these supply drops. They're very risky, but they're sort of high risk, high reward. In some cases, some games like to throw in some really interesting items into the loot crates or the supply drops that fall down from the sky, which can be really bad in some circumstances. You can get valuable weapons from these crates. Also, you can destroy the balloon which is on top of the crate in order for the crate to actually drop rapidly to the ground. So if you are just below the crate and you want it to drop straight down so you can get the loot as fast as possible before anyone sees you or tries to contest the crate, then you can go ahead and shoot the balloon and it will drop to the ground. They've also added in some new weapons to the game. They've added in a scoped assault rifle, a Zapatron. This seems to be a crate-only weapon. It looks pretty cool, has very limited ammo, and it's only an ammo type that you can actually get from crates, so it's something you need to use sparingly. There's also a new tactical submachine gun. Now if you're someone who's bought one of the Fortnite's Founders Packs and you bought that before September the 21st, then you will receive an exclusive camo skin for your glider or umbrella while descending into the battle from the battle bus, which is pretty cool. So these are your parachutes, and that's a nice camo. Not something that's ridiculously great, but at least you get something that is cosmetically different and I guess, you know, makes you stand out. Other than that, that's pretty much it. There's a ton of other changes that have been added in this update. Like I said, if you want to see the patch notes in their entirety, they're linked in the description below. Now let's move on to the actual gameplay and what I think about Fortnite and my experience so far while playing Fortnite Battle Royale. And I gotta say, so far so good. I really enjoyed playing this game. It is a lot of fun. It's way more fun than PUBG, but there are just just some issues with the game, which I'll bring up later on, that need changing in order to make this game a little bit better. This is from a balance perspective and also from a user experience perspective. There's a few things that need changing, like I said, to make the game better than it is right now. Just little touches here and there that will make the game inevitably more fun and in the long run won't really annoy people and turn people away from the game. Now, as for actual gameplay, Fortnite Battle Royale is a solid Battle Royale game. It is a lot of fun. I really have been enjoying playing it, and yeah, it's definitely something that's worth playing. Something that's really unique about this is that there are ways of being able to build your own sort of fortresses there and then, so you can build your own sort of like personal defenses. So you have the option to build walls, floors, a staircase and a roof. The roof's not really that useful unless you want to try and block off some bits and bobs. You can also use F5, which allows you to place certain traps, although the traps are pretty obvious, so they don't really work all that well, but they are there in case you need to use them. So they're kind of situational. They're useful in certain situations, but not always, because they're quite obvious and make quite a lot of noise. But the building aspect of Fortnite and Fortnite Battle Royale is pretty interesting, so you can build your own fortress. So that means basically when you're in the last circle, you can start to build up a base and try and use that as cover and try and hopefully, you know, get into a circle using the building objects. So you can just push into the circle. Maybe somebody's camping the edge of the circle and then you're in the circle, but then you can put your own cover up and then use that. There's different tiers of buildings. So you've got wood, brick and metal, which is pretty cool. And you gather these resources by using your pickaxe and just hitting objects around the map. Everything in this game can be destroyed apart from the actual terrain itself. So all the buildings can be pretty much demolished, and you can basically just gather a ton of resources and then use that to build forts. Hence why the game's kind of called Fortnite, and that comes obviously from the PvE game mode that this game originally is. As for things that I don't like about the game, as far as things that need to be changed, the actual inventory system is absolutely awful. It needs a complete rework. Switching your weapons around, making sure you've got meds is just horrible. It's not efficient. It's just very frustrating in the middle of a battle, trying to switch out certain things or making sure that you've got your weapons on easy to reach keys is ridiculous. So I'd have to sit there and think about what keys I want to bind to what, because some of the keys are ridiculous. Like they're really bad. So I'd have to rebind some of the keys. As you can see, some of them are Z and X, and it's kind of hard to basically just switch between certain things. Obviously, you'll have a little bit of leeway in certain situations where you can actually have the liberty to press those keys, but in certain cases you won't. If you're in the heat of battle, maybe you've sprayed all of your ammo out of an AR, you switch to the shotgun, you miss every shot with the shotgun, and you need to follow up with another gun, and then you have to like press a key that's like far out, and that could cause you to die. That's awful. Picking up loot in general is awful. Yes, you can actually just not pick up weapons, but I don't like the fact that the loot just drops on the ground. Like that makes sense in the PvE game of Fortnite, but in PvP, not so much. You don't want to be sifting through a ton of weapons that are just dropped on the ground. But if you are struggling to pick up weapons and just ammo, maybe you want some of the resources, the meds, but you don't want to pick up any guns or change them out, little tip for you: if you press 1 and go to your pickaxe and just spam E on the ground, you'll actually pick up all of the resources and none of the weapons. So make sure you have your pickaxe out for that. But other than that, you know, just things dropping on the floor all over the place is just frustrating, especially when you're trying to pick up certain weapons that are on top of other weapons. For example, maybe there is a certain tier weapon that is better than the one you have and you want to replace it, and then there's a weapon above that, so then you're wasting time trying to pick up all these weapons. And also medding is just a pain, because obviously you've only got one slot which is taken by the pickaxe, and then you've got 5 slots which are for anything else. So it's frustrating. So some things need to change as far as the inventory system is concerned. Also, while I'm on the topic of meds in the game, there's only sort of 2 types of meds. You have bandages, which heal you up to 75% health, and then you have a first aid kit, which then fills up. I'm not sure whether it's 100% or whether it does quite a huge amount. I think it might be 100%, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd need to test that. But it seems that they don't have any kind of painkillers or energy drink, something that can allow you to heal over time, so that would be something nice to have in the future. Also, in general, outlooking would be nice to have in this game, to be able to look around, because when you're actually landing in, you can't see anyone unless you actually turn around, which then sort of slows your descent, kind of. You still like are descending pretty quickly, but in most situations you sort of lose the element of speed. So you need to land quickly, but while you're doing that, you want to be able to look around and see what's going on and see who's landing near you, so you can prepare and just think on the fly, where have I got to go, where can I loot, where this person's not too close to who might already have a gun. So it's kind of awkward. They need to add some kind of like alt look feature, because the only way to turn around is to literally just, you know, turn your character around, which sucks. So that kind of needs to change. So in the game, there are different types of weapons. You have sort of different classifications. You've got assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, pistols, sniper rifles. There's like a bolt action sniper rifle and then a semi-automatic sniper rifle. And then on top of that, you have rarity. So you have common, which is grey. They're sort of like your normal weapons. Then you have uncommon, which is green, rare, which is blue, epic, which is purple, legendary, which is orange, and mythic, which is gold. Now, I've only seen those rarities up to legendary. I haven't seen a mythic weapon, so I believe that kind of like rarity is only available in the PvE game, which is Fortnite PvE. And yeah, I feel like those rarities basically distinguish whether that gun has more damage or not. So basically, if you have an epic gun, that means it's going to do more damage than a rare gun of the same weapon. So say if you get 2 shotguns, you've got a rare one and an epic one, it just means that you're going to find the epic one with more ammo and it's going to have more damage than the rare one. And then of course, if you were to find a legendary shotgun, that legendary shotgun would be better than the epic one. It'd have more damage than the epic one and more ammo when you pick it up, which is pretty cool. There are sort of some interesting elements with some of the weapons that they have. For example, it seems like the ARs are really good. They are the go-to weapons to use in this game. If you get a sniper rifle, you're kind of stuffed, because sniper rifles seem to have what I can only presume as sort of like bullet drop or wind speed, where the bullets actually take a certain amount of time to travel. The bullet like travel speed is ridiculously slow. So you aim at somebody with like the ARs, the pistols, shotguns, and that's like you aim on them, you point, you click, they take damage, they die. Whereas with the sniper rifles, you kind of have to lead your shots when they're running, which is kind of awkward. So these sniper rifles, which are meant to be really good, end up coming off a lot worse because the ARs are generally better. Also, something that doesn't make sense about Fortnite, although it kind of makes sense because obviously you've got the ability to build bases, is the fact that there's nade launchers and RPGs within the game. In some situations, people might be stacked with RPGs and, well, rockets, and they will just be spamming them in the last circle, which is kind of ridiculous. Yes, you can build up a fort, but you're going to be taking a ton of damage from people with rocket launchers and grenade launchers, and if you don't have that, then you can't really counter it. The rocket launchers do a ton of damage, basically, if you land one shot with a rocket launcher. All you need to do is follow up with like a burst from your AR or SMG if they're within range, and you basically pretty much have destroyed them. I managed to kill someone in one shot in a closed confined space with the rocket launcher. Someone also tried to kill me with a rocket launcher and ended up blowing themselves up. So yeah, there are some interesting elements with that. So maybe that could be, I wouldn't say like they need to be in the game, but they kind of can be in the game. They kind of do need to be in the game, because there is certain tier buildings that, you know, machine gun fire isn't going to be able to do anything. But it seems like for now they are a bit weird in certain scenarios. I guess it's because I'm not used to it, but it just seems like rocket launchers just, they make sense, but then they don't make sense. It seems like if someone's got a rocket launcher, they can just fire left, fire right, and travel time, and then basically just blow you up from either side, and there's nothing you can do other than try and back off. So I don't know, it's something that I may have to play a bit more of the game to get a feel for and see how it plays out, because I haven't had many games where I've got to use a rocket launcher, or I've been in a situation where I've been pressed by someone with a rocket launcher. So I'll see how it goes. But yeah, it is something that is a bit weird. And as like a sort of another sort of idea and suggestion, I feel like they should add some kind of character customization where you have certain presets and you get to choose the gender of your character and sort of what your character looks like, you know, a few facial presets, maybe a few different sort of body types, and then hairstyles, and then you can get cosmetic items. That would be something pretty cool to add in the future, instead of just having randomly generated characters or characters that are in the, I guess, the campaign or PvE version of Fortnite. So So I don't know, it'd be pretty interesting to see custom characters and cosmetic items. Obviously they've added a cosmetic item in for the people who have bought a founders pack, and that allows you to have a different color parachute, but that obviously means that in the future they will probably be adding some cosmetic items that will help them have revenue but won't have any impact on the game, which would be pretty cool to see. But other than that, the game is really solid. I really enjoyed playing Fortnite Battle Royale so far. I can't wait to play more. It's definitely worth your time, definitely worth playing. So if you would like to play this game, it is of course linked in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it entertaining, interesting. Hope you learned something new about the game, and I hope you sort of agree with some points that I have about the game. But other than that, the game is pretty fun. I hope to see it strive to become better, but I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. If you did, in fact, enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like. Unfortunately, if you didn't enjoy this video, there's always a dislike button. If you'd like to see more content like this or more content by me, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you in my next video.